I'm Helen.
And I'm Liz.
And we're sisters,
Scientists.
and lifelong X-Files fans.
And this is We Want to Believe.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Today
Welcome,
we're talking
colleagues.
about Queequeg's demise.
Yeah, Queequeg. Yeah, I have lots to say about this episode. I have some fun facts about it. I have literally no notes, and I will explain that. Ooh, I need a pen. Okay. I have literally no notes, and that is from a new thing I attempted.
Oh,
I was thinking about how, like, when we're talking about the episodes, it's important to give, like, important. I don't know what that means in this context. But, like, we want to give the full plot, but, like, absolute minutia sometimes isn't super necessary for conveying the stuff I want to convey. So I'm like, do I need the most detailed notes? Maybe not. Also, I'm going to start my summer traveling soon. So I really need to walk a lot to get myself ready for walking constantly.
yeah.
So I just took a 45-minute walk while watching the X-Files.
How were you? Like, I am not someone that can like read on a treadmill, for example.
It took so much less focus than reading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you can glance away really easily because you can still hear it, you know? Like I had my headphones on and I tripped once, but I didn't fall down.
Did you just like hold your phone in front of your face?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Huh. And it went well. I mean, as far as like
Shockingly well.
Oh.
Shockingly well. Yeah.
No
I
kidding.
walked all over my neighborhood. I got scared by only one person, you know, who was like walking behind me and I didn't know it because I had headphones on and I'd already seen him two other times and then he was right behind me and I was like, maybe he's here to kill me. And then I was like, it is the middle of the day and there are people everywhere. Probably not. And no, he was just also walking. Who knows? Maybe he was also he had his phone out. Maybe he was also watching the X-Files.
Maybe he was trying to watch your phone he was like, ooh, she's watching the X-Files. I'm gonna step back behind her.
Yeah. I don't think he was close enough to see, which I mean, again,
That's
I think he startled me because I couldn't hear. I also saw a number of people walking small dogs.
Oh no.
I saw the double corgis that live in our neighborhood, so that was nice. So it worked, but it also meant I could not take notes because I think that would be a level of multitasking I am not yet ready for.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would look like. I mean, but it was great. I'm trying to just like walk every day to get my body ready for walking every day because, you know, I mean,
yeah, I mean,
we don't live in a country where we like can easily walk places, and then suddenly that's what I do all the time when we're traveling. So
that's a great idea.
I get shin splints real bad at the beginning of traveling usually. Probably not real bad, but I get like pain in the shins that I'm like trying to massage every night and every step hurts, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
By ramping up in the month and a half before.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I usually try to get work done while I'm watching and taking notes, which is more.
Wait, you're watching, you're taking notes, and you're getting work done?
Yeah. Any commercial break, I'm sending emails anytime. Like I'm trying
to. Oh, you have the version of Hulu with commercials.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like any sort of like space where like they're talking and I can just listen, or like I took notes about that. I'm sending emails, grading papers, like, yeah. And so this sounds way more pleasant.
It was great. Yeah. It was enjoyable. I mean, especially because it's not that hot out. If it were hot out, I'd be mad, but it was wonderful.
Cool.
I wore mittens for part of it.
You did what?
I wore mittens.
Oh. Cool. So yeah, notes.
We'll see how it goes. I don't have any notes. I have a lot of things to say though. Great. I did look some stuff up once I got home.
Sure.
The one thing I want to start by saying is that in the last episode of our podcast, I ended it by saying, I feel so dumb now because I was wrong. I ended by saying, oh, this is the next episode is the one with Scully singing to Mulder on that rock. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Nope. That's not this episode.
That's the one with, or is this the one? What's the one with Ponce de Leon?
That's the one with Ponce de Leon.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's Detour, which is in season 5.
Yes, which is great.
Yes.
Okay. All right. This one then maybe I don't I know they both take place in swamps, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'm not sure. I think I might be mixing them up in my head too.
Yeah. This one is a lot more, I mean, it's almost not an X-File.
Oh, hmm.
Like it was a pretty good one. It was interesting narratively, I thought. Like the structure of it was interesting because it starts with like normal stuff. So it starts with this doctor, this biologist, Dr. Faraday, talking to this guy from like the Department of Natural Resources outside of this lake. And Dr. Faraday, I thought his name choice was interesting because
Yeah.
Faraday is such a famous, prominent physicist.
Yeah, same.
So I was like, why'd they make this biology man? Um, I Faraday. I don't know.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, but anyway, he's into frogs, and he's talking about how the frog population is really decreasing, and he's trying to figure out why. And the guy he's talking to is really dismissive, doesn't care, walks away, immediately gets eaten by something.
Oh,
So
Dr.
yeah,
Faraday does, or someone,
nope.
the other
The
guy?
other guy, the guy that was like, no, we're not going to give your study funding. We're not going to
Ah,
like decrease the amount of human presence on the lake. We don't care about your frog study.
man, if we can get some sort of weird monster to start attacking people that are defunding scientific research, I'm not going to say no. I mean,
No, I mean, what could we do?
right.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that wouldn't keep me up at night.
It would keep me up at night smiling.
Yeah. I mean, no, I guess if there was an actual monster out
I
there
mean,
eating, I'd be a little
what if
concerned.
it went after people that cut funding though? Like kind of how those like orcas keep killing rich people.
Yes. Oh, I love those orcas. I love them so much. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, if the orcas start going after, I would just be absolutely thrilled.
Well, by the end of this episode, we might have some ideas because
Great.
um, it gets quite concrete.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Wonderful.
um, how to train them to only eat people who are going after scientific funding. Well, we can
I
we can
mean,
brainstorm. We can just, throw
yeah.
ideas out. No wrong answers.
Or
Um,
we put people on some yachts. I mean, let the orcas do what they do.
yeah. Um, anyway, in this case, yeah, he gets eaten, and it's kind of like Monster Cam where you see something come out of the water and get him. And then he's missing. And so Mulder and Scully and Queequeg, Scully's Pomeranian, are headed to Georgia to this lake. And they are Scully's like, I don't know why you're taking me here. It's just a missing persons case. Like, there's plenty of those. It's a Saturday. Mulder gave her like 5 minutes notice and was like, I'm picking you up and we're going. So, like, typical Mulder.
Is that
So
why Queequeg is involved?
that's why Queequeg is there because Scully's
Okay.
mom's out of town and can't stay with Queequeg. And so they go into town, and there's signs on the road as they approach about Big Blue, who's like a Loch Ness monster sort of monster that lives in their lake. And they go to like a I don't know, little convenience store type place, bait and tackle shop, all purpose place. It's selling like Big Blue t-shirts and Big Blue other merch. It's got a big inflatable Big Blue on top of the store. And I mean, frankly, I would buy the shit out of all of this stuff. I
Yeah,
would be
that sounds
all over
great.
it. I would be all over it. Um, I mean, my God, like the amount of Loch Ness monster merch mom and I wanted to buy when we were in
Oh,
Scotland.
yeah.
And I want to say, I know she brought home 2 Loch Ness monsters for your
Yeah.
kids.
Hmm.
We those were the best. We did a lot of research.
That's awesome.
Like everywhere has those, and there's all sorts of different ones, and we were like, no, not that one. That one's not right. And like,
They're great. They're really
yeah,
nice little guys.
yeah.
Hmm.
So they talk to this guy at the store, and he tells them about Big Blue, and it becomes clear like that's why Mulder is here. And Mulder also has mentioned that besides that guy who we saw get eaten in the beginning of the episode, a Boy Scout troop leader also disappeared.
Ah, hmm.
And so he's like, that's 2 missing persons. So he really wants it to be Big Blue. And the guy talks about, oh, there's been sightings for years. And then he's like, well, if you really want to know about it, you should talk to him. And this other guy walks in and he's a photographer and he's like obsessed with Big Blue. And his name is Ansel, which I thought was interesting. Again, names in this episode, because Ansel Adams is a famous photographer.
Yeah.
And this guy is a photographer named Ansel. So, okay.
Does he have glasses?
Does he have glasses? The character?
Uh-huh.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I feel like I can picture him. Anyway.
Okay. He talks about how he's always been trying to photograph Big Blue. He spent 15 years looking for him and he's going to find him. And he's done all this research and he has all this data and all these photos of attempts at sightings. And so they're talking to him, and then we see another shot of somebody, like a fisherman out on the lake, who suddenly sees a dead body. And so this person runs in and is like, we got to call the sheriff. There's a floater. And so Mulder and Scully run out there, and it is the Boy Scout leader who's been missing, floating in the lake, except it's only half of him.
Oh, and
So-
does it look like the rest was chomped? Or
I mean, it's half a man. I don't know. It's like, right, it's like his genes. I don't know. Like it's
Okay.
the bottom half of him. And I mean, they do have like one of those ridiculous Scully moments of her being like, well, fish eat bodies that are in the water. And Mulder's like, yeah, but they don't eat the first half and save the second half for later.
yeah.
And so, okay, so now we've got one body is found. They settle in at their like little motel. They talk to the sheriff, and then I think at some point in there they also talk to Dr. Faraday, the frogman. And I'm not sure about the order of things because the deaths start racking up quite quickly.
Okay.
In one or two order, it doesn't actually matter. We see the man who ran the convenience store out, and it's like early morning, dawn, and he is in big fake monster shaped boots, like he's making fake tracks, and then he is eaten.
Oh no.
And so they find the tracks and they find something else that belonged to him, and so they know it was him.
Okay.
And then a few minutes later, they find the boots. And so they're like, was the whole thing a hoax? And they're like, well, no, but then where is he? Because he's just missing. And then we see two familiar faces, which I was like, at first I was like, God, do I just remember this episode better than I thought? No. Do you remember in War of the Coprophages, there are these two teenagers who are trying to use,
Oh, to Matt or whatever.
well, yeah, they're like trying to get high from
Yeah,
this like
yeah.
fertilizer in a lab. Those two teenagers are in this episode.
Oh my God. Is it supposed to be them or is it? Yes. Oh, my God, that's
100%.
awesome.
Yeah, because they're there because they know there's a big frog population and they know that licking toads can get you high.
Oh my God. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So they're there and then they're kind of sitting out on a dock and talking. And then there's like a third friend of theirs is in the water, like with like a snorkel and stuff. I don't think frogs live on the bottom of lakes under the water, correct? That doesn't make sense to me.
No, I mean, not a herpetologist or anything. And is it herpetology for amphibians too? I feel like that's both reptiles. Why am I asking you? Is that what that face means? Yeah. No.
That's what that face means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I sure don't think so.
I mean, they can't. Okay, I'm gonna say something
there
really.
are some
stupid.
entirely aquatic frogs.
Are there?
Yeah, there are. Yeah. But I don't think they like, I don't know. What were you going to say?
They're not like deep water frogs. No, that would be insane.
No,
As I say
I
it
don't
aloud,
think
that's
so.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I sure don't think so. My colleague who would know is in here today. Otherwise, I'd be tempted to go in the hallway and be like, "Hey, Tanya, tell me about frogs." Like,
Nice.
she would.
Man, I feel like, I don't know, physicists are so strange that I feel like if I went into the hallway and said that to one of my colleagues, they might just tell me about frogs, even though they're not experts. So I actually have something to share that is sort of related to that, but
Ooh.
I'm going to save it for reasons that will become clear.
Okay.
So they have a third friend who's in the water looking for frogs to get them high, I guess. he is attacked and eaten.
Mm.
And they then like Scully and the sheriff are like, no, it's probably like the motor from a motorboat like killed him. And they're like, and Mulder is like, no, that doesn't make sense. And again, I agree, it does not make
No.
sense. I'll mention that I think it's Kim something. I can't think of her name right now. Was the one who wrote this, but Darren Morgan did edit it and had a hand in it, and he's the one who wrote War of the Coprophages, so he is the reason that he brought those teenagers back as like a reference to it. And then so now they found the body of the Boy Scout leader. They've got the shop owner who is dead or missing, sorry. And then they've got one of the three teenagers is dead. And then Ansel, the photographer, is like, all right, I'm going to get photos. So he gets a raft and he puts meat on the raft and he sets up with his camera and he's like ready to get a shot. And he is in the forest. And then we see the monster cam and he's attacked and
Oh.
he's like snapping photos as the monster is eating him, basically. So they find his camera and other like remains or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember honestly if they find his body or if he's missing and they find his stuff. Um, and the sheriff is trying to say like, oh, you get deaths on these lakes. It's not that weird. And Mulder's like, I don't know. It seems like a lot in a short span of time. And so they get the photos developed and him and Scully are looking at them and they're also looking at his sort of, I want to say lab. I don't know if lab's the right word. Like his lair. Lair is also not the right word. His area where he's got all his pictures and his research and everything.
Okay, sure.
And so they get the photos developed. And it's all blurry. It's some of his face. There's one thing that maybe is a tooth. I don't think that makes much sense because it's very close up. And if it was that close, you'd think it would have bitten the camera, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and then
can I interrupt?
please.
Did you know that some eels have two jaws? I just learned this. There's like an inside jaw with more teeth and an outside jaw.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just learned about it. It just made me think of it. There's like the
I don't know how
normal.
I feel about that.
Yeah,
Oh my God. It's like the sandworms in Beetlejuice, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't seen that in so long.
Don't
This
they
is
have like a rah and then a rah?
oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Those noises didn't help. But they have like the normal eel mouth you see, and then just like slightly further back, there's like another jaw that can
When
open.
you say further back, you mean like inside the eel?
Yes, inside the eel. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do they use it for?
I don't know. I didn't do as much research into it as I need to. I don't know what the end of that is.
As you should have.
As
Yeah.
I should have, yeah. That's all. I thought that was cool. I just learned about it.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I like it. I think it makes them cooler.
I think I just was recently getting weirded out by thinking too hard about teeth. So
I mean, I'm not a big fan. I mean, I have done a lot of tooth-based research and it gets me a little bit. Like other bones, I'm 100% fine with, but teeth sometimes get me a little.
they're
Not
a little too
a little personal, like a little
Oh no, that isn't what I
no.
was thinking. No.
Oh,
Too small, fringy, creepy. They're too much like
cringy.
little
Oh.
you know, have you heard of that? Like, what is it, like trypophobia, something like that, where it's like people don't like seeing clustered holes?
Oh yeah, you don't, right?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a similar feeling. Like
Oh,
I'm talking right now and I can see my teeth and I'm suddenly not a fan. I've never had a tooth issue.
huh.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like when I have like hundreds of them to work with.
I
That
wouldn't
are
like
all
that either.
disarticulated. Yeah. I also had a root canal yesterday. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
feeling kind of
How'd it go?
we're on the subject anyway. This was the nicest dentist I have ever met. She was so nice. It was, yeah, I felt like, oh my God, wait, dentists can be this nice? Like that, and I mean, I knew that somewhere because an old friend of mine, Amy, is a dentist in Oregon State. And I can't
She has
possibly,
listened to our podcast and gave me advice about my bangs once on our
yeah,
podcast.
hi.
Yeah.
I can't possibly imagine her being mean to patients like that. I
Right.
cannot imagine that. But I have never had a dentist that was actively this nice to me. So it was, I mean, it was a root canal, but it was the best dental work experience I've had.
I need to know more because I feel like I've had, for the vast majority of my dentists have been perfectly adequate and I have no complaints.
Hmm.
Not all. I had that one dental hygienist who I didn't like because she
Yeah.
hated her. And then I also had a dentist who I thought was just obsessed with covering his own ass and wouldn't say anything really when
Oh.
I tried to ask questions. And so I stopped going to him and he later left the clinic. But I mean, I've had plenty of other dentists and I always feel really neutral about them. So what I want to know is she abnormally nice or have you had abnormally bad luck with mean dentists?
I think probably both. I think probably somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Because I have had some dentists I don't like. I did have one dentist in Madison that I liked. He was pretty nice. But when I've said that I have pretty significant dental anxiety, I've never had someone try to reassure me about it. It's always been oh, okay, good to know. We're gonna just keep doing what we do, I guess. But
Yeah.
legitimately reassuring.
Wow.
So I
That
don't,
is good.
yeah. So I mean, the one dentist I had, Madison, for a while, he was perfectly nice and I didn't have any issues with him. But he was not this nice. This seemed abnormal, but also I think I've had more dentists that are crappy.
Yeah. I guess thinking about it, because I always tell people when I have to get a blood test, I have real bad phobia of
Yeah.
needles. And yeah, they are normally just oh, okay, we'll
Yeah.
make sure you're laying down. That's the main thing is, oh, okay. Well, some of them say, oh, don't look. I'm like, oh, yeah, as if I'm fucking looking. Is it oh, that never occurred to me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Um, I had an extremely good experience getting a blood test recently.
Oh,
I
good.
went to the hospital to the lab there because it was drop in. And oh, it turns out I do not have that clotting disorder, if
Oh,
anyone's
hey,
curious.
right
Yeah.
on.
So that's good to know.
Yeah.
And but it was a Saturday and the lab is open just in the morning. So it was eerily quiet. I've never been in the hospital on a Saturday, I guess. And
Oh,
so it was
yeah.
very quiet. Um, the woman I went in, she was like, okay, let's go. She shows me the room. It's like a standard, I don't know, chair, whatever. And I was like, just so you know, I have a history of passing out. And she's like, well, we're not going to use that chair then. And then she has one that fully reclines and she's like, we're going to get you some ice packs for your neck and your chest because that helps.
Wow.
And then she's like, do you want somebody, we'll get somebody next to you to talk to you and distract you, which they do sometimes. But then she used the best portmanteau I have ever heard. Did I tell you this already?
No,
She calls out, because no one else is in there except a couple other employees. She calls out, I need a Phlebotobuddy.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I just thought that's
I've never heard that.
word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And then she did it and she was really, really good. I didn't have to take a
Wow.
Valium or anything. I mean, I couldn't if I drove myself there. So that was kind
Yeah.
of baked into the plan. But
Yeah.
she gave me apple juice afterwards, which I think at this point I need to just start bringing my own apple juice because it always ends up that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or no, take it. Don't have to pay for your own. Take the free apple juice.
You're absolutely right. I'll be like, I'm ready for my apple juice.
Yeah. No. And see, that's this is interesting because normally I have to take Valium when I get dental work done. And this was actually better than my experience just getting fillings back in whatever that was earlier this year that started all this pain in the first place.
Wow.
And she was because we like did the consult and she was like, we can go ahead and do it now. And I was like, well, I have pretty bad anxiety, thinking like, so I want to come back with some Valium.
Yeah.
And she kept going like, well, that's okay. We can, how did she phrase it? We'll make sure we're giving you lots of Novocaine. We'll get your tooth all nice and cozy, and kept talking about getting my tooth nice and cozy. And then she was like, I don't know, super good. Like I didn't feel a lot of pain with the Novocaine. She did make sure everything was nice. And I don't know, I feel like maybe you don't need Valium when you have like an adequate professional working.
Yeah. Yeah, like maybe you only need Valium when you start to flinch a little and they say, oh, well, if you do that, I'm going to have to hold you down,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
You're not a child.
Yeah, like if I run, that's on me. Like you're not responsible for catching me.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent point.
But yeah, I mean, I am going to go on weekends to the hospital from now on. It was so calm. It was so quiet. They were so chill. I got up my Phlebotobuddy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My Phlebotobuddy distracted me. This would be a great question for Wolf, our chemist friend. Although Helen, you might know some more because you know more chemistry than me.
Mm-hmm.
She really distracted me because she started saying some stuff that deeply concerned me. She asked, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I said, "I don't know. I think I need to clean my bathroom." And she's like, "Have you seen those TikToks where they combine all the cleaning supplies and they've got like,
don't ever
right?
Don't ever."
She's like, they have oh, I can't think what it's called. What's the green tub, the green tube, the green cylinder, the green
Clorox wipes? No.
No, it's a
Pine Sol?
No, but we're not far off. It's a powder and it's a dark green cylinder.
Like Barkeeper's Friend?
No, it's worse.
Oh.
It's a dark green. Why do I just keep saying green cylinder? God damn. Comet.
Oh God. Okay, so continue then.
So Comet, okay. Combining Comet with other cleaners she mentioned that I didn't know the name of. And I am, this distracted me from the blood test.
Oh my God. Was she saying this in like this is a recommended thing, or like,
Yes.
Why aren't these people dead?
No, she was saying it like, isn't that neat?
Oh my God, no.
And I was like, that sounds like it would cause explosions
Yeah.
or harmful gases. And she's like,
God.
oh, they do it. They'll make like this ball of stuff because it like combines, it makes like a ball, and they just drop it in the toilet and it cleans it. And I was like, I don't know. I think that sounds really dangerous.
I mean, some like I know you can combine, like what is it, baking soda,
Baking soda.
Yeah. And like, I mean, there's stuff you can combine, but like there's also stuff you like really, really can't because it'll make ammonia gas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. Like bleach should not be mixed with like literally anything else.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in Comet, but I haven't ever gotten the feeling that it's like a nice natural,
all natural Comet fresh from a mountain stream. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
I know, like something like borax, I feel like is, look, again, I don't know anything, but I feel like it's natural. I feel like I know that or something.
I can't remember where.
I guess, and again, what does natural even mean?
Right,
I know
exactly.
that. Yeah, but like not volatile.
Yeah.
But Comet, anything where you think to yourself, I better open all my windows before I use this, you probably shouldn't combine with anything else.
Nope. No, you really, really, really shouldn't. This is once again why I hate YouTube. I know this was TikTok, but like in general, that like this is the problem. This is what happens. Like, I mean, I can't think of any recent examples, but I do enjoy it when my students will be like, okay, so I saw this on TikTok, and I'll get to be like, no. No.
And
but not this bad.
Ever see
oh my God.
Physics on TikTok.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like trying to convince my Phlebotobuddy to not combine chemicals in her toilet.
Oh my God, that's so alarming. Oh,
Yeah, what a sentence.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it was incredibly effective at distracting me. So
Yeah. Oh, I
yeah,
believe it. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Um,
so
yeah.
but getting back to the teeth,
Oh
there's
yeah, the
a
teeth.
picture of teeth.
Oh yes, in the episode, that thing we're here to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a tooth.
Okay.
I don't know. They don't, then we actually don't find out. Unfortunately, at this point, Scully goes to take Queequeg out for a walk. It is nighttime, and Queequeg gets away and is eaten by the monster. We don't see anything, but it's clear that's what happens. And I did not like that. I was sad. I am sure it was a very quick death for Queequeg, and technically, we
Yeah.
don't know that Queequeg was eaten. Okay, we just know Queequeg's collar is left and Queequeg himself is gone. Maybe Queequeg and the monster are friends. Maybe Queequeg is now in the forest. I don't know. I do know that I would not react very well if that happened to me. Not if it happened to me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if my
If
dog were
your
eaten
dog.
by the monster, I imagine I'd just react by dying if the monster attacked.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, my dog died of old age in a very peaceful way, and it affected me for months now.
Yeah.
So I don't see myself as handling that very well.
No.
Scully is sad, but then they kind of move on with the plot. And I think it's a TV thing.
Also,
I didn't.
probably I mean, that seems a little on brand for Scully, like, uh,
She's not super emotional, but
yeah.
no, I don't know. It was still, I just felt, I guess the one thing you could say is that pretty quickly after that, they get into sort of a harrowing situation. And I think it's a little bit, maybe she's got to just kind of deal with that right then.
Yeah.
Um, so, it does, so this is where it gets kind of interesting. Narratively speaking, it's different. Um, Mulder realizes that this Ansel has all this data on where the different sightings were. And for years, they were always in this one part of the lake. And now, very recently, suddenly they're at the shore.
Hmm.
And so he's like, the monster has moved, something's going on. Let's take a boat out there. And they take a boat out there, and they have like a radar system on the boat,
Uh-huh.
and they see something big and amorphous in shape approaching them. It hits the boat, and they end up stranded on this little rock. And this is the scene that I thought involved Scully singing Joy to the World by Three Dog Night. And I was wrong. And I watched the whole scene being like, when's she going to start singing? And she never did. And then I had a moment of getting convinced that there was some reason they'd cut it out, that like Three Dog Night had like withdrawn their approval or something. And no, I just had the wrong swamp episode. Um, it's weird how sure I was of that and how wrong I was, but I've been wrong about things before, I suppose.
But I
Um,
mean, it is like they're stranded on this like small, like it's actually, I mean, it's a pretty similar situation though.
and
Like,
if you
yeah.
read about the episode Detour, a lot of reviews talked about how it was very similar to Quagmire.
Ah, interesting.
So the whole third act of this episode is them stranded on this rock having this long conversation.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
which was really different. And like they keep almost thinking they see the monster, but then like it's a duck, or it's nothing. And like they talk about like Mulder's whole quest, and because she does talk about Queequeg and how he was named after a character in Moby Dick because her dad liked Moby Dick, and so Scully and him read it, and she'd call him Ahab, and he'd call her Starbucks, so she named the dog Queequeg, and so then Scully starts talking about how Mulder is like Ahab and how does she never realize this because he's so single-minded in this quest.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then Mulder says some stuff that I found way more bizarre than I remembered, and that like, oh, no, I'm not like Ahab. I always wished I was because I thought it'd be really cool to have a peg leg, and um, how like I don't know. I feel like I don't like this. I'll just quote it that like, oh, if I had a peg leg or like a hook for a hand, then I wouldn't have any other expectations on myself. And it would just be enough to just get by. And there wouldn't be an assumption that I would have to achieve anything with my life. And I just felt like,
Hmm.
Jesus, I don't like this for anyone. Not that people
Yeah.
have a lot of wooden legs, but
Right.
anyone with a disability, like, oh, you're just getting by. Like, I don't know. It made me
Yeah.
I thought that that's not cool. I don't like that.
No, I mean, I get what he's trying to say. Like the same way I've talked to my therapist about how like sometimes I wish that like, instead of emotional trauma, it was just like I was missing my arm. So then people would know when they saw me, like this is, like something is wrong instead of assuming that I, am quote unquote
In
normal.
I
But
don't think that I think you're giving Mulder too much credit, actually.
okay.
I think he was saying then he's like, I'm not like Ahab because I don't have that, which did not make sense.
Does Ahab have a peg leg? I don't remember that. I mean, I never read it, but I feel like I
Okay,
know enough.
same. That is the exact same thought I had. I thought I would know if Captain Ahab had a peg leg, and that is 100% what's being implied here. Would
Huh.
I? I've deliberately never read Moby Dick.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
I guess
Oh,
nobody
yes.
accidentally
Says
never.
the internet.
Yes, he has a peg leg?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. That's that. I mean, again, I have not read it, but
No. I feel like that doesn't get enough press.
yeah, I really didn't realize that. Um,
Our friend Chris's son Peter, who was, I think, 5 at the time when Archer lost his back leg, my old
oh
dog,
yeah.
that he thought that Archer was going to have a wooden leg.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah, okay. Weird.
Yeah, so they just have
Okay.
kind of like a long philosophical conversation, and
Okay.
Mulder and Scully's like, why do you want this to be Big Blue so bad? And he does talk about how like so many of the things he looks for are so, and this did make sense to me, so like shadowy and hard to pin down. And this is like it is in one lake, it is one animal. I just want to like find
Yeah.
this and know this. And then there's waves and there's something coming towards them, and they are both freaking out and they get their guns. And it is uh, Dr. Faraday
Oh,
in a boat come to rescue them.
okay. All right.
And they're like, how did you know we were out here? And he's like, oh, I heard you. I could hear you talking when I was walking by. The shore's like 10 feet over there.
Oh,
So they're just like right offshore. Maybe not 10 feet, but like it's right over there. And it was just foggy and dark and they couldn't tell.
okay.
They start talking to Faraday, and he's again talking about his frogs. And Mulder is like, wait, well, if the frogs are disappearing, that could be the food source for the lake monster. And that might be why the lake monster came close to shore and is eating people. And
Sure.
I guess, but I just feel like, how many frogs would it take to fill up a lake monster? And to
Yeah.
go from eating frogs to people just seems like a really weird jump.
Yeah, I agreed. Right.
Like,
Like
it'd be like
not,
if you went from like, it would be like if a person ate like sprinkles.
yeah, like why not snake next? Why not some
Ooh,
lizards?
like
Why
a
not?
big fish. I don't know.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, or like it just seems like frogs are too small for a lake monster to ever really feel satisfied by.
Well, I mean, think about like whales eating krill. I mean, it's,
Oh,
it
okay. So look,
you would just need a
I'm just
lot
gonna
of
say it.
them.
I'm just gonna say it. What's krill?
Oh, like little crustacean guys.
They eat them
Yeah. Like tons of them.
like popcorn?
I was gonna say like rice, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's such a good point. I eat rice all the time, and I'm never like,
Yeah.
why am I eating something so small?
Right. But you need a lot of it.
I guess I was just picturing like, all right, proportionally, if you thought, let's say I only eat rice, and you think, how much actually, did I ever tell you about my coworker and how much rice he claimed to eat?
No, I mean, maybe at some point, but I don't remember.
A coworker of mine told me once that him and his wife eat 50 pounds of rice a month.
Whoa.
And if you look at like
How much is a Costco bag? I'm trying to think. We buy
not 50
like,
pounds,
no.
significantly, probably here. I'm gonna, sorry, real quick. I'm right by the rice, so let's take a look here. It is an audio medium, but let the record show that I am showing Helen a big bag of rice that is
Yeah.
a
I
little
mean,
bit bigger than my head.
not Costco size, but big.
Not Costco size. This is
Yeah.
5 pounds.
Oh, okay. So I mean, my Costco bags of rice might be like 20. I mean,
Okay.
they're pretty
And
big.
Do you go through over two of them
Oh,
a month?
no.
Yeah.
No. And it's just him and his wife, or do
Yes.
they have children?
Nope.
No? Huh. I
I
mean,
think he's just wildly wrong and he just
yes.
said a number
Yeah.
because that's insane. So imagine, okay, so I'm thinking if all you eat is rice, maybe that's how much you eat, and maybe you're like the lake monster with the frogs.
Yeah.
But then like, isn't that lake just full of frogs at that point?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't that it seems like a food source that would be gone through very quickly. Like this,
Yeah,
yeah. And what happens
yeah.
during, like winter? Like when,
I mean, look, I don't know what frogs do in winter for
they,
sure.
they go into like a torpor, I think.
Oh, God,
Um,
I wish I could go into a torpor in winter.
I know, same.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh
Huh.
God, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling really good the last couple weeks. And I'm like, yeah, because it's fucking light out. Because
Yeah,
I'm not in the dark all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it helps. Um,
Anyway, that's the theory. So Mulder is thinking we should go back out to the area by the frogs. He's got to be over there. Then the sheriff comes up and goes, another tourist was killed, another like boater person who was visiting the lake on a different part. And so they're like debating on where they should go to look for the monster. And so Mulder and Scully go, just the two of them, to the area where Mulder thinks the monster must be living. And they find Dr. Faraday, who had just wandered off, and he's been attacked.
oh,
And he was previously like, oh, I forgot to mention to his credit. No, not really. He would want me to tell you this if he were real,
is
that
it
he
about the
wants to.
frogs?
Uh, well, yeah, it's
Oh,
about how like as soon as people don't have an explanation for something, instead of thinking more deeply, they attribute it to something fantastical, and how it makes him mad because he's a serious researcher about these frogs. And I felt kind of like, okay, but also nobody asked you. You could just be like, no, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yep.
so he has been attacked and he believes in the monster now. He didn't see it, but he felt it and it bit like an artery on his leg.
Oh,
So Scully uses a belt to make a tourniquet, which, hey, we were just talking about blood tests. I don't care for tourniquets, but whatever. And Mulder runs off to look for the monster, as Mulder does. And he's got a gun, which is good because Mulder is attacked um, by a big crocodile
oh, I thought I
or
remembered.
alligator. Alligator. Alligator.
Okay, I thought I remembered something crocodilian being involved.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a big alligator that was killing people.
Oh man. Oh, they're so
Yeah.
God, I love gators so much and crocodiles. They're so neat.
Yeah. So they do have lots of gators in Georgia. Would you like to guess how many gators they approximate there are in the state of Georgia?
Oh my God. I mean, yes, I do want to guess, but
Or we could give another number. Oh, what the hell is the name of that swamp? Swamp full of gators. I have some updates. So that I have some actually recent alligator news.
ooh, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, is how much of I don't know how many birds are. I have no idea how many anything is in Georgia.
All right. So Okefenokee Swamp is at the like Georgia Florida border.
Okay.
And it's like a protected wetlands area. Okay.
Mhm.
In Okefenokee National Park or National Wildlife Refuge. Um, in that one park, they estimate there are about 15,000 alligators
Whoa.
and
Wow.
estimate between 200 and 250,000 in the whole state of Georgia.
Wow. Oh, that's a lot of gators.
I know.
Oh,
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So Mulder is pretty bummed out by it just being an alligator, which Scully is like, this is good because otherwise people would have kept dying,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he's just like, I wanted it to be something good. And they walk away, and then in the background, we absolutely see Big Blue swim by.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like it was an alligator killing people, but
Right.
Big Blue was probably still in the center of the lake, not
Yeah.
killing him.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad he didn't get blamed for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was nice. I
Oh, poor,
I have some more alligator news though.
I would love
Um,
it.
in this one part of Georgia, which of course, although this took place in Georgia, it was filmed in Vancouver. Um, they know what lakes we could go on a vacation to those lakes if we wanted to. Um, and I wanna get this exactly right because it's newish news, and I don't know, you should just be informed, I guess. Um, it was in a state park in Georgia. It was in like a canal where, oh yeah, it was in Okefenokee. Okay. That state park I mentioned that has 15,000 alligators roughly. There's just like this narrow canal waterway, and they got footage. There's these two, this is from last July, so 2024.
Okay.
I mean, look, we've both seen alligators, like,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, right. And you see like an alligator, and then like a little bit later, you might see another alligator. There are like 100 alligators in this area, and the guy is going, "It's all gators," and he's freaking out. And there's all these alligators there. And so then like some researchers went and they were like, "Yep," and they got footage, and it was like all these alligators in this one little area, and they don't know why.
They don't know why.
They
Like,
don't know why. No, they have some theories that like parts of the park were drier than they usually are. So like maybe they were all there, but they were still like, but they're normally territorial and there was water elsewhere. It wasn't like a severe drought. And like,
huh.
uh,
This is
they
so
were,
interesting because I recently we were interviewing for a visiting position for someone to teach like some more ecology focused conservation bio sort of classes. And someone gave a teaching demo and we were talking about like what happens like if beavers were suddenly gone from an area, like what
hmm,
that does to the landscape is in terms of like what would happen to the like this was like last week.
huh,
What would happen to like the wetlands? Would we have like more or less?
hmm.
And these were all questions for students, right? But we were watching it. Um,
I don't, you say that I shouldn't know the answer to that, right?
Well, no, but I mean, just like the way it was phrased, like if there's like a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
beavers and then like the water may not stay in one place like the beavers want it to, it
Right,
might,
gotcha.
yeah.
I think when you said these were questions for students, I got concerned that the implication was obviously you and I know what would happen.
No, it was actually kind of fun because I was, some of my colleagues are more into this sort of biology. And so I was able to be like, ooh, what would happen, guys?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
but we were talking about the movement then of amphibians and reptiles in the area, that it would
Oh,
change based on the amount of water, and like who was using it for nesting grounds and stuff. And
oh,
so this is super applicable to my life.
relevant.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
it's too bad that that was last week, or you could have
I
been like,
know.
hear about the gators.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
cool. I want to look that up now.
it is an unsettling image.
Is it?
You're just like, no, that's too many.
I mean, we've talked about this. Too many of anything is unsettling, but like that's
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of gators.
I feel comfortable with like too many rice, as
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
discussing.
Um, I'm currently Googling Georgia, tons of gators. I'll have to later.
You'll find it. I mean,
Okay.
it's
Did you have any other gator related news before we wrap up?
that there is one that is like famous in Okefenokee Swamp who's like a real big guy that they've named. I think his name is something like Striker, and he's known for using the crosswalk at a roundabout when he walks through.
Oh, oh, they're great.
Yeah, I know.
They've been
Um,
unchanged for like such
right?
a long time. They're such like great guys, them and Shark, like they're just
Yeah.
doing awesome.
And what I was thinking about earlier, we were talking about this with frogs, and I wanted to wait to talk about alligators because it came up later in the episode. But I was swimming in Puerto Vallarta when we were there for my 40th, and I was like, I don't know, there were other people in the water, but I was just like, floating on my back, relaxing. And it's like a cordoned off swimming area, like not cordoned off, but like buoys.
Yeah.
And it's pretty chill. But it's not super crystal clear like on the Caribbean side. And all of a sudden I was like, can alligators breathe underwater? Can they? And I freaked out and I ran in.
Oh no.
I don't think they can, But I suddenly was like, could they just be creeping along the bottom of the ocean? No, I don't think so. I think they'd float.
So you're wrong about a lot of stuff. I don't know what
Tell me I'm not wrong about them creeping around the bottom of the ocean.
well, no, I think they can creep around the bottom of like rivers and stuff. I don't think they're creeping along the bottom of the ocean, and it depends on how deep. They can go underwater.
I was in water probably about, I don't know, it was like up to my shoulders, maybe like up to my face. I don't know, it was deep.
I mean, I don't know relatively to alligators. I know they're not like out in like 50
And
deep
they're
water,
bigger
but
than me.
yeah.
That's not what you mean.
No, that's not what I mean. But I mean, I know they can like crawl along like riverbeds and stuff.
Can they?
And they can hold their breath for a long time. So they can't breathe underwater, but they can stay underwater for a long time.
How long?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that alligator science.
Step into your hallway and ask whoever walks by. How long
Yeah.
can alligators hold their breath? Yeah. Okay, well, I will keep that.
I don't think you were actually in any danger of being bitten by an alligator or
No,
is there
probably not.
any
Although they do
out there?
see alligators by the marina in Puerto Vallarta, and then they'll be like, "Uh-oh, alligators out today, everybody. Don't be on the beach." So
Oh, so cool.
I know.
Such nice big guys.
I also read that they're about 7 to 10 inches when born, which I just think is
Oh.
cutest. And they about like double that in the first year of their life. So they're still like little guys, and they live with their parents for like the first 2 or 3 years.
Wow. Oh,
Maybe just their mom, but still,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like,
Oh, little
yeah.
guys.
And they can live do you know that like in the wild they live up to be about 50?
Wow. In the wild?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah,
Good for them.
I know.
Good for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
I
Cool.
know.
I think
So that
gators
would
are
be,
awesome. I think I was just talking to a student about, I made some comment about spiders and they said something like, "Oh, I don't mind spiders, but I hate snakes." And I was like, "Oh, how could you hate a snake?"
is
And
it a guy? We've talked
no,
about
it
this.
wasn't actually.
Oh,
It was, yeah, it was, and they also didn't like mice. And so I was telling the story of when in our first apartment in Madison, how sometimes I was in my last year of college, and sometimes I'd be staying up late studying, and there would in like the only one in the living room, and sometimes a little
Steve?
mouse. What?
Was his name Steve?
Oh, maybe.
Didn't we name the mouse Steve?
Yeah, maybe. I know we also had centipedes that we named.
I didn't know that we
Um,
named the centipedes. I just
oh,
had
maybe
a
not.
plan to paint them.
That's right, to try to track how many were in the apartment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the mouse was named Steve. I totally forgot about that.
I
Um,
think we named him after a mouse on an episode of House that was named Steve McQueen.
oh my gosh, that sounds familiar.
I don't think I ever would have remembered that, but it just like came back to me. Or
Wow.
I made it up. I don't know. I think it's true though.
I think so.
Anyway,
That
so you
sounds
were talking
familiar.
about a mouse who
No,
may
just
or may not have been named Steve.
right. Yeah, just telling the story of how it would sometimes just like come into the living room and just like stand in the middle of our living room, and I would just be like, I'm just gonna keep studying with this mouse out here, I guess. And eventually I would look back and he was gone.
It
But
reminds me of when Mallory Marlowe was our guest on here and talked about a friend who was like, "Oh, after a certain hour, the cockroaches take over that part of the apartment.
oh
You have
God,
to
that's
get over
right.
here."
Yeah. Oh, that's so terrible. That's
Yeah.
way worse in my opinion. I don't know. But
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I would, but well, my student's point was that they're much more okay with any bugs than with like snakes or mice or anything. And I was like, 100% no.
No, because like also, I mean, first of all, they're cute.
Yeah.
Second
Oh,
of all, they're more big. They're more
yeah.
big. I don't know, like they're like there is that thing as
Yeah.
opposed to there they all are.
Yes. Yeah. Hmm.
And like,
And
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I just think snakes are awesome. I think,
Yeah, I mean, I've seen snakes when I'm roller skating on the bike path
oh,
sometimes.
cool.
I
Wow.
didn't handle it well. I was alone and I screamed because I thought it was a stick and then it moved.
Oh,
I'm like totally good if someone's like, would you like to see a snake up there? I'd be like, yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be scared. But if I think I'm going to see a stick and then it slithers.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us what animals you're okay with or not okay with.
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Do you agree about mice? That they're just adorable?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I don't want them in my house, let's be clear, but like, but they're very cute.
Yeah. And then up next is wet wired.
My office. What is it? Wet wire?
Wet wired.
Oh.
It's a like technology gone insane one.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's okay. Maybe I'll watch it while, I don't know, swimming. We'll try something new. Yeah.
On like 2 times speed. Yeah.
All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
We Want to Believe is hosted by Helen Werner and Liz Holden. It's produced by Zach Werner. The We Want to Believe theme music was created and recorded by Zach Werner. Find us at wewanttoBelievePod.com, on Instagram at wewanttoBelievePod, or send us an email at wewanttoBelievePod@gmail.com.